Hey guys, Daniel Mar Reviews here, and in this video I'm going to be unboxing a Christmas slash birthday gift, because yesterday, December 28th, was my birthday. This is a Christmas slash birthday gift from my dad and his girlfriend, so a huge thanks to them. The iPad mini 6th generation. So this is a 64 gigabyte, and we're going to unbox this now. So I'm really excited about this. So here's the iPad right here, space gray, designed by Apple in California. So something I've noticed about this already is this is a lot bigger than previous iPad models. This package right here, and whoops, sorry. Inside it has the Apple information, iPad information, and of course the Apple stickers. This is a USB-C to USB-C cable and a, whoops, how many watts is this? 20 watts. Oh wow, 20 watt Apple adapter. And here's the iPad right here. Wow. Really nice. Ooh, my fingerprints are on it. Wow. Alright, so we're going to open this. This right here is a Touch ID slash on-off switch, but it's also Touch ID. Here, I don't want to get my fingerprints on this. So we're just going to turn it on for the first time. Yeah, again, I don't want to get my fingerprints on this. Oh, interesting. Hello, swipe up to open. So now I have the iPad set up, and so far in the, I guess, last hours I've been using it. I've, only had it last night. So far I'm really enjoying it. There are a couple of downsides which I'll just get over with right now. The first thing is some apps, like Minecraft for instance, don't take full advantage of the screen. For instance, there are still some black bars right here. So it's not a big deal, but it definitely could be better than that for sure. Another disadvantage is definitely not unique to this iPad, but you could still see the black bars there when you're watching videos, which again, could be better, but this has always been the case with iPads, so to me, it's no big deal. Another thing I do miss from my previous iPad, the iPad Pro, is the 120 Hz refresh rate, but that's not really a big deal on here because it's still very wicked fast with the A15 chip. So it was noticeable at first, but I think you quickly get used to it. At least I did. In case you're wondering, this is not an Apple Pencil. This is a third-party pencil, but it was meant to mimic the 2nd generation Apple Pencil, and it still seems to work good, still fairly accurate. A huge thanks to my mom for getting this for me. It is a Christmas gift from her, so again, a huge thanks to her. The only downside really is that it just doesn't charge from the magnet at the top. Of course, I'd have to charge it with the charger, the USB-C port for this. Aside from that, it seems to work just great. I didn't want my mom or my dad or anyone to spend over $100 on the Apple Pencil 2. My drawing needs aren't that high, so this will do just fine for me. So now I'm going to go over stuff I really like about this iPad. So the first thing is the camera. This has a 12 megapixel rear-facing camera that can do up to 4K at 60 and a 12 megapixel FaceTime HD camera that can do up to 1080p at 60. This is the rear-facing camera at 1080p 60 frames per second. Usually the iPad mini has never had as good a camera as iPhones released the same year, and sometimes, more higher end, larger iPads, but this is the first time an advanced camera has made it onto an iPad mini. And this right here is a test in 4K. Where things really get advanced is the front-facing camera. And that's because of this 122-degree camera right here. This is also in 1080p 60 frames per second. Another thing I really like about this is how fast it is, and that's because of the A15 Bionic chip and the 4 gigabytes of RAM. So again, this doesn't have the 120 Hz refresh rate, but that really doesn't bother me. I mean, at first I noticed it, but it's not a big deal. Again, it doesn't bother me. This is still a very fast iPad. Just scrolling like this, it feels very butterly smooth. I haven't tested out the games yet, but I'd suspect that any hardcore game you put at this, it will run it very smoothly. I'm going to be editing this video on this iPad LumaFusion, and I expect that to be smooth as butter as well. So far, the battery life seems pretty good. It did go down dramatically because when I was transferring all the stuff from my previous iPad to here, a lot of these apps were downloading at the same time, but right now it seems to be going down at a fairly slow rate. So I'm gonna try to do better with the battery life than my previous iPad. I'll definitely try not to use this as much, and of course try not to charge it as much as well. But yeah, the battery life on here so far seems to be pretty good, but I'll definitely say more about that in the review coming up sometime in January. Something I love about minis in general is the keyboard. It's actually much easier to type on here rather than with an iPad Pro where you gotta stretch out your thumbs a bit. I mean, of course there are some things you can do like this, for instance. Even on here you can do that, but something like that really isn't needed on here. And I wouldn't say I have big hands. I mean, see look at that. I can't even carry this iPad in one hand. But this keyboard is still very easy to type on. It's small enough to easily type on, but it's big enough to the point where it's not as claustrophobic as, say, a smaller iPhone. The iPad mini has always had a higher pixel density than the regular iPad, and with this having 326 pixels per inch, the colors on this thing definitely look really nice. It even has its own wallpaper as well. Another pro feature that this iPad has is quad speakers.
Hey guys, Daniel Mar Reviews here. Merry Christmas, and for those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays.
So you can definitely tell that those speakers are really loud. Now, for me, I don't really care for loud speakers, but of course it's nice to have louder than quieter speakers, that's for sure. Overall, the pros on this iPad definitely outweigh the cons. The cons aren't even that much of a big deal, at least in my opinion. A lot of people talk about, the fact that there's a lot of space right here, as you can see, between the apps and the edge of the screen. Yes, they could have done that better, but to me, it really isn't a big deal. I guess I'm just not as picky, but different strokes for different folks. Overall, this is definitely a nice iPad. Of course, I'm gonna have to use it more to judge it more, but overall, I'm really happy with this so far. I like how Apple added quite a few pro features to this. It's really powerful with an A15 chip, but of course it has the quad speakers, it has the new iPad design, Apple Pencil 2 second generation support, but again, this is not an Apple Pencil. Overall, I'd say I'm really happy with this iPad. I'm gonna be doing a review on this in January sometime, but anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. That's it. See you guys.